I have a sticker jar where there's a lot of cool
Hmm.
phrases,
Yeah.
and I give stickers out sometimes to my students.
Hmm.
Shout out to Veronica Aguilar. She gave me that idea. And one of the stickers was, I feel sunshine in my heart today. And I told
Oh.
my students, I do not feel sunshine in my heart today.
Mm.
I got bad news today. And I
Mm.
told them, I got bad news this weekend, but I told them, I have to make a decision because I have responsibilities to bring sunshine to people's lives. But I was
Mm.
honest with them because that's real life.
Mm.
The Raiders and the Dodgers aren't real life. And we can disagree about this, by the way, because I'm open-minded to talk about this because
Mm.
I might have a blind spot, but I feel like it's healthy to have a sports team. I'm a Raiders Dodgers fan. Um, Clippers minimally. I don't follow NBA as much, but I feel like that's not real life, and I feel like some people think it's real life. That's my point.
Okay. I get it.
From Hallmark Hall of
I
Fame,
need somebody who loves to teach.
What school is it?
It's a new program for homeless students.
they had no classroom, no books,
They don't care about us.
but one special teacher
I'm here to report a situation that is unacceptable.
fought to give them the education they deserved.
Don't you think we can do better for them?
Based on an inspiring true story,
I'm gonna be a teacher.
Hey there. Welcome to Pod and Deliver. Ruben, this week we're looking at a film titled Beyond the Blackboard, directed by Jeff Beckner. This is a Hallmark movie, came out in 2011. I'm not a big Hallmark film kind of guy, Ruben. I'm not sure if you like those lovey-dovey films. They have these movies that come out in July now, like Christmas in July, and they have these love stories. So when I saw this film, I thought this is gonna be one of those type of maybe love stories. Maybe this teacher falls in love with another teacher. None of that. This is actually a true story. And it takes place in actually 1987. So this is like the time we were finishing high school ourselves. And this is a woman who taught in Utah at a homeless shelter. This teacher, it's her first gig. She gets pregnant you see that she gets pregnant as a teen, and it takes her a while to finish school, but she always wanted to be a teacher. She gets into teaching. The actress is Emily Van Camp, and I think her name in the film is like Miss Bess, I believe, right? And this teacher really is not ready for this class. It's homeless. This is the shelter, and there's this classroom within the shelter. She's not ready for the kids. She's not ready for the adults that live there in the shelter. And right away, you could tell she doesn't want any of it. However, like good movies, right? She sticks it out, and she starts loving the kids. The kids start loving her, and she learns to deal with that surrounding. She actually really has a heart for um, this group of people, and so you see her grow as a teacher, and her able to reach out to the superintendent of that school to help her with desks because she had nothing. I mean, she had zero. She bought a lot of things. It kind of tells you about teaching. Sometimes you have to buy a lot of your materials, and you see that with her. I like the way she communicated with the kids and the parents. She started the first like PTA meeting, had the parents come in and talk about some of the goals and having a place for the kids to have homework and having a quiet time where there's no TV going on in the shelter so the kids could work. She brought in another teacher, another person in the shelter to help her with art. It really uplifted him. She was really good about just uh, looking at people's gifts and bringing that out of them and encouraging them. And even the young people, she brought one, which is something I wouldn't normally recommend. She brought one of the kids with the consent of the father to live with her for a few months as the father got his, to get a job and so forth, so he could help provide for his daughter. But she was an excellent teacher. She had to teach like K through 12th grade. I think first she was told K through 6, but in reality, she taught all the grades in this little place. And in the middle of it, she gets pregnant. But Ruben, this I really didn't think I was gonna like it because it's a Hallmark film. But as a Hallmark film, obviously it's not this theatrical, film. But I think it did its job. I enjoyed it. I could actually say I recommend it because um, you see, this is a person who really loves teaching, and this is a person who wants to really affect others, and she did. She really changed the lives of not just the children there, but the parents and the people who work at that shelter, and even the administration staff who just did so much for her because she was so loving. But Ruben, I have to give my recommendation on it. How did you feel about the film?
So you really liked this movie, didn't you?
You didn't like it?
I'm gonna say that maybe the Ruben of 2 years ago, 3 years ago would have just said this movie does not agree with me and I don't like it. But let's talk about the things I didn't like. I could do without the schmaltzy music to manipulate us, the very Hallmarky music, and I got home from work one day and I turned this on, and 5 minutes in I turned it right off. I couldn't deal with the schmaltzy manipulation, Hallmark thing. And then I started watching it, and there's some good things about it, including there's a moment in which she brings out pictures to her students. These are homeless children. You know, some of their parents are in jail. They have no resources. She brings out her vacation pictures and says, "This is our family as we stayed at a winter house up in Big Bear." I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if it was Big Bear, but they're just staring at the pictures. Can any of you talk about your time in your winter vacation homes? Again, I'm paraphrasing, but it was absurd. And it really hit home, though, as I was watching it, the idea that you have to know your students. You have to know where they're at, where they're coming from. I'm even careful at where I'm at. I'm teaching at a private school, and I'm careful about how I word things. When I talk about student parent, when I say, "Hey, we're reading Death of a Salesman" in a couple of classes, and I say, "This character's trying to please his parents, but you're all trying to please your parents at some level while you're trying to please your parent/guardian, because not everybody has a traditional family structure. So you have to be careful about things like that and how you word things." So I appreciated that scene. At one point, she wonders why the admin has put the kibosh on a certain rule or a certain I forget what the admin did, but basically no drinking, no drugs. And somebody broke that rule, and he had to, I forget what he had to do, but he had to intervene into the class. "How could you intervene?" And she's crying. Jacob, would you not agree that no drinking, no drugs in your classroom is a pretty good rule of thumb?
Well, it wasn't in the classroom, it was in the shelter, but the classrooms
That's the
are that
classroom.
shelter. Yeah, of course. And I think the whole point was to give another opportunity, because she was thinking about the child, because they were going to get kicked out. The child was going to get kicked out with the father. And so they're going to be in the streets.
I know, but you are impacting other kids, and sometimes you have to sacrifice.
Oh, I don't disagree with the rule and even the consequence. I understood her being pulled and being like, "Hey, can we give this guy another opportunity?" Because he was a drinker. It wasn't drugs, but it was drinking. Well, I guess that's a drug. It was drinking. And so the guy said, "No, we can't do it."
But
Yeah.
you understand, though, that impacts every kid.
No.
when
Yes.
they're seeing that. I also want to say, because you mentioned this, Jacob, come on. She brings home a kid. The father brings her. Yes, that's fine. You can't bring your students home. That's not real.
I know. We're talking 1987. We're
You
talking.
cannot bring your students home because you feel sorry for them. That's not real. Stop it. And she
I'm
brings
sure
her,
she did it though. I don't think that's made up. I'm
brings
sure.
the kid home, and it's like and the father's like, "Well, are you sure? Okay, no, that's not
The biggest thing that was
advisable."
unbelievable is the husband was so like okay with everything she did.
Or I
Oh, I'm gonna
know,
work summer school with no pay. I'm gonna bring home this kid. Okay, at least a little pushback would have been more realistic. But I could see her doing that, and that's a big mistake. That's a big no-no. You're correct. I'm just saying she did have her heart in the right place. She was trying to remember it's the first year teacher who doesn't know all the rules either. To give her that break. At the same time, I'm sure she never did that again because you don't know what you're bringing in. I mean, once I'm not sure if I'd share this story with you, Ruben, but years ago there was a former student who was 25, 26. She had a boyfriend. She wanted to come. She needed a break, and I was like, she wanted to help. I'm like, I guess I could help her, and I was going to do that, but I had a good talk with our father, and he's like, "What are you doing? Are you crazy? And you don't you're gonna bring these people into your home you don't even know." And I actually finally said it, not him, but her, and that didn't work out because she wasn't gonna go without him. But bottom line is, even a 25-year-old, you have no clue what you're bringing into your
Wow,
home. You
now I
gotta be
know why
careful.
you like the. Now I know why you like this movie. You're
I
doing
didn't
it.
do it, but I
You're
was
doing it.
almost there.
You're doing it in your own personal life, so
Oh,
that's I get it. At one point, a student tells her, "I won't forget you," which reminds me of another film that we saw recently where the teacher said, a student says, "Nobody's gonna remember you." The English teacher. Anyway,
yeah, very
oh,
good, very good.
I thought there were some good, valuable things in the movie. Do I recommend it? The old Ruben would say no. The
Oh,
new, you know what the new Ruben? I don't know if I
I
told you
like
this.
the new Ruben. He's nice.
Did I tell you the story where a crow I let two birds nest in my balcony? Not in this apartment,
And you didn't kick him out?
in the Glen.
This is the new Ruben.
I let them, and
Oh.
they hatched eggs. Did I tell you this story?
You're like a daddy
They
now.
hatched eggs in my balcony, and they left these gifts on my balcony. They left this.
No way.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I
thought
believe it, but that's
no.
crazy.
This is
I believe
true.
animals. They
Yeah.
love humans.
There's stories. If you go online, you see these the crows
Oh
will
yeah.
leave. Yeah. So at first I walk onto this balcony onto my balcony, and I'm like, where in the world did this come from? So I first saw this, and I'm like, I was staring at it, and I was completely confused
Oh
at
man.
this broken Mercedes thing. I'm all,
Did
what?
did you
I
name
saw
them?
this later. I just stared at it, and then I figured it out. Um,
Oh
the birds
my.
brought them in, yeah.
Oh, I
And
believe it. Maybe you should name them. Have you named the birds?
well, I moved.
Oh, that's from your old place. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I kept these.
these
It's
little
serious.
these little
So
gifts.
I feel like the new Ruben has been impacted by moments like this. So the old Ruben wouldn't have liked this film. The new Ruben still doesn't like this film.
So you can't recommend it.
Oh.
All right. Well, we'll end with that. Audience, thank you for coming along with us on this film night. And Beyond the Blackboard wasn't for Ruben, but I enjoyed it. And I think you guys let us know how you feel. Go ahead and watch it. You can see it on the Hallmark channel. There's a couple other places you can see it for free. With that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that. And we'll see you soon on Pod and Deliver. Have a good night. Bye-bye.